I want to take a look at some data from the past 38 years regarding the inflation rate, mortgage rates, and the difference between mortgage rates and the inflation rate during this period of time. So we've looked at everything back to 1974 up to the present day. And as you can see that historically, mortgage rates have always been a little higher than the inflation rate. So during the Federal Reserve's attack on inflation during the 1980s, we had average mortgage rates of 16.6%, and the inflation rate was 13.55%. So we had a difference of, at some point in time, a little over 4% between the two, 3 to 4%. That tracked all the way through, and that's a consistent delta where the mortgage rates have always been higher than the inflation rate. We saw this during the housing boom, where the inflation rate was averaging about 3.39% and mortgage rates were about 6.87% during that housing boom of the early 2000s. During the housing bust, when the inflation rate averaged 3.84%, mortgage rates were about 6%. And once again, still mortgage rates higher than the inflation rate. Then we get into this COVID period, and we had some extraordinary action taking place by the Federal Reserve. And you can see this is the first time in 38 years in which the inflation rate was higher than mortgage rates. And this is unique. So you can actually see here that the difference between mortgage rates and the inflation rate are positive, which we have not seen. And it begs the question, it makes you kind of wonder, what's taking place. We know that the inflation or the interest rates for mortgages were artificially kept low. That's what drove a lot of the, I'd say, the price increases going on with houses because the cost of money was cheap. But, we're past that point now, and we still have this inflation higher than mortgage rates. That means you're actually borrowing money and repaying it back with money that's worth less over time. And while you can still do that, it's probably a good time to do so. As long as mortgage rates are less than the inflation rate, I actually think that that's an opportunity because at some point in time, I believe that this needs to change and that mortgage rates need to become higher than inflation. So either you have the inflation rate come down, and I'm not sure that that is going to take place anytime soon, or mortgage rates to go up. Now, I cannot predict what's taking place. I am just reporting right now this anomaly. Something to consider, something to do more investigation on, and maybe there's an explanation that is not quite obvious. But I thought I'd make this available for people to at least take a look at and have some discussion.